So, Mihai, it's great to see you on the screen and to be able to talk to you for a few minutes today. So you're in Chisinau, the capital of Moldova, which has a population, I think, of around 1 million people, if I'm not mistaken. And the most important thing, how are you and your family? I know you have obviously your wife and your 2 daughters. How are you doing as a family at the moment?
Well, good to see you too, brother. About the population, it might increase exponentially these days.
Yeah.
We as a family are doing fine so far. The first several days was a little bit harder with less sleep because we were faced with an immediate need, and we didn't have much time for logistics and everything. So I was a lot of time absent from the family, days and nights. My family almost every day is here in the church helping people, and we are trying to stay together, trying to get rest as much as possible. But so far we are still able to push forward, to move forward.
Good. So tell us all that's been happening for these last 5 or 6 days.
Yes, so everything changed. A lot of what was concerning us ceased to be, I think, that important before. A lot of the priorities have been rescheduled in terms of our daily activities. We were faced with the situation that the war started, so we had to go down to the border. While going there to pick up a family of a pastor friend from Odessa, we realized that there might be more people waiting. So we organized some transportation, and we stayed there one night. We waited about like 15 hours for that family. The line is very long at the border. People are staying there in cars and just standing and waiting for like 4 hours. And then the second day after we went there, we started receiving people in our church location where we are renting, on the floors, on mattresses, and heating the room at maximum capacity. So it all started, receiving people, and then these people want to go forward to Europe, to Poland, to Germany. So we were quickly connecting with our brothers in Romania, trying to provide transportation from here to the border, and then our brothers will pick them from the border to their churches and help them with transportation farther. At the moment, that was so. These days were very chaotic, and everybody was running, and everybody was always on the phone. Hundreds of phone calls, and very exhausting, and receiving a lot of people who are running away for their life, running from the war.
So last Sunday, I think you had a lot of visitors at your church service that day. Tell us about that.
Well, it was for sure the most crowded worship service that we had since the very beginning of our church plan. Not only that, it was the most international. We actually had to have that service in English translated in Russian because of the people in the church service. We had Nigerians, we had people from Cameroon, we had people like Ukrainians, because in Odessa there are a lot of students who are coming to do their studies. There were people from different parts from India as well, from Nepal. Somebody was in there. So it was quite an experience. We have to reschedule everything. It was very hard because there was no time as usual for normal preparation for the service. So, but it was a blessed time when we could have so many non-believers. I believe it was also the first time when so many non-believers were in the church listening to the preaching of the gospel.
Yeah. So I know you've been getting literally busloads of Ukrainian refugees arriving at your church in Chisinau. Is that still happening at the moment?
Yes, at the moment we already have half of the facility. We sent out in the morning some people, some to Germany, some others to Poland. I think I'm not sure because we have different brothers in charge and helping.
Yeah.
At the moment, we have something like 10 people from Azerbaijan, and they were told that they have to wait here for several days because some think around 1,500 more Azerbaijani people are coming, and their embassy is taking care first of the women and kids.
Yeah.
And men have to wait, and it will probably take 3 or 4 days. So we already have some people, and there is a van going to the border now with the 20 with the capacity of 20 seats, which might bring some people tonight. So
Right.
it can be that during the day for several hours there will be nobody, but it wasn't really happening a lot these days. And then in the evening people start coming, and
Right.
they can come at 10 p.m, at 1 a.m, at 3 a.m in the morning, and it's just going always like this.
Right. So you're helping people obviously on their journey to other places, to other countries. You're also giving meals to people. You're helping people with accommodation and
Yes.
floor space and mattresses. You're obviously helping people by sharing the gospel with people.
Yes.
Is that a sort of fair summary of the kind of things that you're doing to help the refugees?
Yeah, so we had several meetings with the brothers from the church. So we realized there are two groups of people. There are those who come to Moldova long term. They're not going any other places. This will be one ministry. And there are those who are coming short term, which means 1 or 2 days. They just need to do some paperwork to make sure they can go forward, or they just need 1 or 2 days of rest because they were in the fields running. They have 2 or 3 days without sleep. They're coming from bunkers, from subways and underground places, and they were not resting properly for several days. So for those long term, our challenge is to find shelter. Many mothers with little kids, we're talking several months or 1 or 2 years. We're trying to find apartments in Chisinau where we can rent, which we can rent for a month, and then make sure their needs are covered. Some of them will have some money. Others are just, I was expecting for my salary. They were living from salary to salary, and they were caught in a situation where they were almost with no money. So some might need help even with providing for them. So for those long terms is finding a shelter, a long-term shelter, couple weeks, a month, and then ministering to them through various ways. And throughout all this, of course, is preaching the gospel. And we have also some brothers and sisters, some fellow believers who are coming from Ukraine, and they also stay long term. And they are a priority for us as well biblically, because they're the ones for whom we have first to answer to their needs and to and then there are those short term. Those short term, they're coming, they might stay here a night, or they might stay here a couple hours, just have a meal, and then we will try to have with those who are coming short term at least some brief moments where we can just pray for them, briefly share the gospel. We found something like several hundreds Russian Bibles and Russian literature, and we are at the moment in the process of translating text which was tailored specifically for this purpose, for those running from the war. It was made in English, and we are translating it now in Russian and in Ukrainian. Hopefully by the end of this week, at the beginning of next week, we'll have printed several thousands or dozens of thousands of those, and just giving to the brothers who are at the border serving and other churches, and giving booklets to them. Those who are coming short term, we can have a brief conversation. Like yesterday, I had one with them, and I was talking with these 2 ladies and 2 kids. They're one family, grandma, her daughter, and their 2 little boys. And I was talking with them, and this old lady, she's like, "Well, tell me about God, please." And literally, since I have the privilege to serve as a pastor, Usually it is that we have to be intentional and get people and try to tell people. You don't really have those situations where people are like, tell me about God, please. And it was a wonderful moment when we could share the gospel with them.
Great.
I mean, we have at the moment Muslim people in our hallway, and they will do their regular prayers, but then we will pray with them together when we have the meals, and we will share the gospel and the good news. I could never imagine in my life that we'll have Muslims coming in our church. And so for the short term, these are brief interactions. They will stay a day or two. We will have to provide temporary sheltering, food, and then help with transportation logistics for those who are going to Europe or other places. So there is a large database of connections with brothers who are connected and helping somebody with transportation, somebody with sheltering them in Romania. So it's a very demanding and stressful activity.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. So finally, then, just give us an idea of what are your main prayer needs? I know there are literally thousands of people who are praying for this whole situation, Mihai, but give us an idea of what are the really big needs that we need to be praying about?
I think that the first prayer request would be that in these times of unique opportunities to share the gospel and to point people to God, when people are asking you to tell them about God, that first of all we'll pray that out of this tragedy and suffering, many will come to know Christ and they'll come to faith in Christ. There are many heartbroken people, young mothers who are coming and bursting in tears here because they're left with a 2 years old and their husband is back in Ukraine. I mean, I would often barely hold my tears together and just cry with them and hug them. And so just praying that as we provide for their physical needs, as God is opening so many people hearts to donate and to help with the food, that in the same time we'll not forget our main the basic, the most important need that these people have, which is to come to faith in Christ in these difficult times and to put their hope in Him, and to find their refuge, being refugees and running to find their refuge in Him. Also, we're all praying that this war will stop. Many are saying that it might not stop to Ukraine and it might actually come to us. We are just across the border, and when actually it all started at 5:30 in the morning, we could hear the blast from Odessa from our apartment. I then right away I called this friend of mine from Odessa, and he confirmed it was. So it's very close, and we are telling our people always, like, just be ready. We don't know, but until we don't have to run, let's serve those around us. Our human resources are very limited. So I pray, and one prayer request will be that God will just somehow supernaturally give us more energy than usually and more power and strength than usually, that our people will not be burned out and not fall after helping others. The need is very demanding, and so we have wisely to plan and to organize everything. It's hard to sit down and to plan because always something is happening. You have always to answer phone calls, always to go somewhere to do something. So we need strengthening from the Lord and understanding of how we can best use our resources, time, human resources, material resources, so that we could serve these people.
Great. Well, thank you, brother. And it's a privilege to be able to help you with our prayers and in practical ways too. And I'm sure that loads of brothers and sisters, all over the place will watch this video with interest and turn that into prayer, and we'll continue to help you and support you in every way that we can. So may the Lord bless you and Irina and the girls and your church there in Chisinau and others who are serving the Lord there. And we trust that, as you say, God will bring out of this crisis not only lots of love and compassion, but also
Yes.
many gospel opportunities. And may you see the Lord drawing people to himself, even through this crisis. So great to see you, brother. Take care and God bless. Bye for
Thank
now.
you.
Bye.
Bye for now. Bye.